Hello, welcome to Jackie's Proof Animals Have Souls and Psychics show, produced through Passionate World Talk Radio, a subsidiary of Global Media Network. I'm pleased to be with you again and to present my next show. Today, we are very fortunate because we have Stephen Cavis with us. He's a medium and a psychic, and he was born in Preston, Lancashire, in the northwest of England. He was born in the house just after Christmas in England, as I say, in January 1962. He was brought up in a very strong Roman Catholic environment. His father changed his religion to marry his mum, who was a very staunch, dedicated Roman Catholic, and she had many dogmatic Roman Catholic beliefs, and he later learned his unknown uncle was actually a spiritual healer, but I don't think the family had contacts with the uncle because Stephen was taught that anything to do with spiritual healing or communicating with the dead was the devil's work. His maternal granddad was very animal orientated, and he bred boxer dogs and he worked with horses. Now, Stephen Cavis can be contacted at stephencavis@gmail.com. So it's StephenCavis@gmail.com. And he likes to promote, as a medium, he likes to promote spiritualism as a way of life. So we'll get on with some questions now, because I'm sure you're all interested in how Stephen came into spiritualism and how he became a medium and a psychic and some of his experiences. So welcome, Stephen, to the radio show.
Oh, thank you for having me, Jackie. Thank you for the invite. Well, I started on my spiritual journey, spiritualism, in 2005, when a friend of mine passed over what I now call the higher side of life, and I could still sense him, and I could see him, and there were things happening. I was brought up that when you passed over, you wouldn't know once you were dead, you was dead. But that wasn't the case, my friends. So I started wanting to do more, drawn to do more. I didn't want to go to a spiritualist church in the town I grew up in. There was two, actually, in case enemy family members found out and there'd be uproar, or enemy friends found out and they thought I might have been going a bit mad because it was a bit frowned upon. So I found the town 14, 15 miles away, and I started to go there into a spiritualist church. And after a year, I decided to join this awareness class, where I actually met my wife in the awareness class, and it progressed where after a service the church had moved, I apologise, to another church, and after services had this open circle where anybody can get up, you see, sense, feel spirit and give a message. I was reluctant, I'll be honest with you. I was nervous talking in front of a room full of people, but eventually I was giving messages through, and then I was drawn to go to another town on about 8 miles away to learn about the open circle and to give messages, because I didn't know anybody. So it wasn't like, well, I might have heard this about them. And some people there, some of the meetings, asked if I'd do service for them, but I'd never done services. But I became booking secretary. It was actually called Pathways in Southport, or Portland Street Spiritualist Church. And we had a cancellation once, and the meeting told me I could do the service. I eventually had to do that service, which was about 11 years ago, and then it progressed from there. But I was asked to do services in other churches, and in these 11 years I've been into North Wales, I've worked at the Scottish borders and around the north of England, doing services and promoting spiritualism.
Thank you for that. So how long have you been a medium?
As giving services wise, doing spiritual services, 11 years, and I bring through various different, people who have passed and you feel their condition, and also animals.
Thank you. So do you think you were born a medium, or do you think it's something that developed as you grew up and through your extra meditations in your church that you went to, the Open Circle?
I think we're all born psychic, mediumistic. I think everybody has that ability. As I say, it came out of me when I was in my 40s. But if you look at Neanderthal man, he had that instinct into that fight or flight. He could sense things if there was danger. And his psychic ability, his sixth sense, was more in tune. But because of, I presume, modern things, we've gone away from that sixth sense. It's like children now, if you look. When we was children, we could add up and count. And you go in some supermarkets now, and the till's got to do the work for them. Because the calculators, that's one of them senses, what is now being put on the back burner a bit. And I feel just as the sixth sense was, and that's why the animals, to me, still have that sixth sense. They can sense that danger. You have some animals who may know the parents coming home, the mum and dad in the car, and they go to the door 5 minutes, or when the car pulls up, that's my mum's car, that's my dad's car.
Telepathy, yes. So, do you hear, see, or sense spirit animals and their emotions and feelings?
With dogs more, I feel. I was brought up with boxer dogs. We had a boxer dog. We have a little Shih Tzu now. So with dogs, if it's a big dog, Alsatian boxer, I feel more around my knee. If it's a little dog, I feel around my ankle. So between me ankle and my knee with dogs, I can sense the eyes of the dogs. With cats, I more see my third eye, to be honest, and I'll see be it black and white, a ginger tom, like a turquoise-coloured cat. Mm-hmm. I have once thought, when I laugh at it, somebody mentioned a name, it turned out to be, she was brought up on a farm, it was a family pig, a pet pig.
Oh, that's interesting. So when you pick up communications from a spirit dog, you feel the height of the dog against your leg, and the larger the dog, they're towards your knee, and the smaller the dog towards the ankle. So that's very interesting. That's clairsentience, isn't it? Yeah. And then with cats, you're saying you actually see them in your third eye, and then you hear, like telepathically, names of the animals, and then you give that to the audience in the spiritualist churches, who then say, yes, Ruby, for example, yes, Ruby's my dog. And that's how they're making themselves known to you.
Well, sometimes the animal doesn't come through as the animal, and it's like you've just said, the name might come through.
Yes.
So I maybe talk to somebody, say, I've got Felix, and they might say, oh, that's my cat. That was my previous cat. Because they're still there, giving us that unconditional love, what they gave us when we was here.
Yes, because animals, from my experience, they are devoted, they give so much love, and that's all they're looking for. They just want to give you love, give you healing, and to be with you. So whether you were in a tent in the garden living in that, or whether you're in the house, wherever you are, they want to be. So people, as you were saying to me before the interview, some people even love their animals more than they love family members, because the animal does become, the pet does often become the family member, and a very precious family member. Would you like to give some examples of your experiences with spirit animals, please?
Yeah, well, I can give with spirit and animals, which are on the airplane now. But with spirit animals, I don't feel any condition what they passed over with. Maybe we're having animals myself who's passed over, that may be a bit too close to my heart. But they'll come through, but they always come through with that love. And you sense that love off them to help the people. Just in my experience with animals, with my own pets, with dogs, the first boxer dog we had, I was 4 when we got him. I was 18 when he passed. I actually took the week off work to be with him his last week. But also with another dog, what I used to have, I like to run 2 or 3 times a week. And she used to come with me. She was a crossbreed. And sometimes now when I run, because there's a nature reserve near me, or some sand dunes, I go in a semi-meditative state, and I can feel her. Sometimes I can hear her breath, and sometimes I can see her still running with me. In fact, when she passed over, when I took her to the vets, the first night after she'd been to the vets for the last time, she always used to jump on the bed and sleep between my legs. The first morning when I woke up, I still sensed her, still felt her in between my legs, and the bed still felt like that weight was there, like it was down.
That's fascinating.
But I used to be able to talk to her telepathically, used to be able to say things to her, and she'd know. The dog what we have now, little Shih Tzu Brewster, I did that when he was a pup, and he'd be looking around the room, who said something? But now I can maybe think, I'll take him for a walk in a couple of minutes, and he's there, we're going for a walk. My wife was president of a spiritualist church, and from being a puppy, Brewster's been in the church, and he just walks round without his lead on. Anybody who got a message what upset them, maybe from a loved one who they missed, Brewster would walk up to that person and sit next to him, if he could jump on the chair next to him. Because I believe animals are natural healers. There's no such thing as a vicious animal, a vicious human. But animals just want that, give us that love, that's all they want. If you look at cats and dogs, smaller dogs, the comfort what you get is sometimes you're upset just by stroking that animal. It can calm you down.
Absolutely.
And that's just the healing qualities and that love. Because love is healing, love is positivity. What we get off that animal.
So you're saying that you can think of giving a treat to Brewster, your Shih Tzu now, and Brewster's at your legs waiting for his treat. Or you can think about taking Brewster for a walk, and then Brewster's there with his lead waiting to go out for his walk.
And sometimes if I'm gonna give him a treat, I could think I'll give him a chicken fillet one. But I feel he puts that thought, I'll have a chicken fillet one that time in my mind. Because if I
he's sending telepathy back to you.
Yeah, and if I pick like the sausage treat up, it literally turns his nose up.
He doesn't want that one.
Because he wanted that chicken one. And if I do it vice versa, again, it literally turns his nose up. But that's
interesting.
Well, they're like us. They have their own characters, their own personalities.
And their preferences.
Well, yeah. Even though Bruce is very funny food-wise, but all animals are. I mean, I remember once I was in a church and I brought a cat through. And not that long ago, I was giving this lady, a glass of water fallen off.
The stand on the platform of the church, yes.
And I actually said, was it jokingly, was it truthfully? I said, there's your cat, just knocked the glass of water over. Because they still have that love and the characteristics, animals. It's when I go now, if I'm going for a walk, I can see if animals not so good. And I might say to the owner, his leg's been playing him up, or this, that, and the other. You think, well, he doesn't want to be, he wants to be at home. There's no such thing, as I said, a vicious animal. And maybe from running and there's some dogs come up, I can speak telepathically to them. Because some people, look, if you say mum and dad, I'm not here to hurt your mum or your daddy. Because they're protecting their loved one.
Yes.
Or if you can just say, or sometimes I can say to them, just stand back, you're okay, I'm not going to hurt you. And they understand that. It's our tone with an animal. If we go aggressively, they pick that aggression up. We go with love, and they pick that love up.
Yes. Well, that's interesting. And thank you very much for sharing your experiences with us and how you pick up and communicate with animals telepathically, whether they're alive, physically alive, or whether they're in spirit. And your journey and your spiritual path and soul progression into mediumship. So thank you very much. And if you want to contact Stephen, it's StephenCavis@gmail.com. Stephen Cavis@gmail.com. So thank you very much, and maybe we can get Stephen on again in the future for listeners to ask further questions. Thank you very much.